Brian, we spoke before about your last fight. It was over in England against Emmanuel Oshinronde. Do you think you were being took over as an opponent for that fight?
I definitely took over as an opponent, yeah.
Do you think that they were looking to pad his record out a bit? And he was a bit of a touted prospect as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's meant to be good, so I heard after the fight, but before he was made out to be not as good as he was, and then when I heard all these good things about him after, so I think I was getting took over there to be beat, yeah.
And the fight itself, you stopped him in the third round. What do you remember about the stoppage?
Just hitting him with body shots, and just as soon as he just didn't want to know, you know, he just couldn't throw any more punches, and that was it.
And I was saying to Paul there, with you being 32 years of age, do you think there's a bit of a fast track on your career? You might just have to take those fights at short notice?
Yeah, we'll probably have to take whatever fight comes for me, you know. But I suppose I'll go through Paul first and see what he says about them, and that'll be it, you know.
Do you think at some point the Irish title could be on the agenda?
Well, I would hope so. That's what I'd aim for anyway.
And for those who don't know you, how would you describe your style? Your fighting style?
I don't know. What would you say, Paul?
I'd say he's a box fighter.
Box fighter?
He can fight if he wants to, and he can box if he wants to, so he's a box fighter to me.
Are you more suited to the professional game, do you think?
I would say so, yes.
And what about your amateur career? What did you get up to as an
Well, I
amateur?
was on Ulster Juniors, Antrim Juniors, and then I was in now to, you know, I would have maybe wanted for Ulster Intermediates, yeah, and I came and went at it. I didn't stick at diameters, you know.
And a bit of a break and then back as a professional.
Yeah.
In your debut in May, you fought James Tucker in the Holiday Inn. He was a bit of a slippery customer for you.
He was very hard to hit, James.
But you got through it 39-37.
Yeah.
Do you think that's put you in good stead for moving on to bigger things?
Well, I think he was a good enough fight, you know, to win. He had 31 fights before me. I mean, he hadn't won them all, but he wasn't bad, you know, he had plenty of experience.
And talking of experience, you're there sparring with Kieran Healy. Kieran's a tough guy. That'll be good experience for you in the ring.
Yeah, very good. I know Kieran a long time, so I've been sparring him for years, but he's been all the best of them, so, you know, I'll give you a bit of confidence. You would know you wouldn't be on with too many better than him.
And we saw you getting pushed through the paces there with the likes of the bike and stuff. What's your day-to-day routine? What sort of thing did Paul having you do?
Well, I'm only back at it, but I would say you would go through harder in here than you would go through in a fight some days, you know, so hard enough.
You'll definitely be well prepared anyway when the fight comes up.
I'm not afraid of fighting anyway.
Is there anything on the agenda, or are you just waiting for the phone?
I'm just waiting to see if anything comes across here. That's it, you know.
That's brilliant, Brian. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Paul, we're here in the Belfast surroundings, the Lisburn Road. What's the story behind this club? What made you decide to work here?
It's just when I was working with Gary Head and Tony Dunlap. Tony Dunlap's asked me to try and get a club somewhere, and I got this place here. Got a short leash on it, and to see how things went. And Brian Cusack was training him at the time, and then I asked Tony what was he doing with Brian. He says he had something else to do at the time, and Brian came and asked me to train him, so I started training him myself.
And Brian looks like quite a tasty prospect there, sparring with Kieran Healy. What do you make of him as a fighter? How far do you think he can go?
He's 32 years of age, obviously, and he's a good amateur experience, like, which stands to him. He's doing what's asked of him. You can't think away above your means. Like, he's not going to be a world champion or anything like that there, but he could be. He could be he's good enough maybe to win a British title if he had the right fights and the right plan out for him, you know. But he could do okay.
And with him being 32 years of age and the fact that he went over to England for his last fight, do you think he might just have to take a fight every now and again with less preparation, or have to travel a bit?
Well, that's the way it is. If you don't have a permanent promoter, you're looking around for fights, you know what I mean? You really need a permanent promoter to plan out a future for you, you know. I'm not in that position, you know what I mean? I don't have a promoter, like, so.
Yeah, and for those who don't know too much about you, what's your boxing history, a brief background of yourself in boxing?
I've been in boxing all my life, you know what I mean? I boxed myself, a lot of fights myself. My son boxed, my brother boxed, they're Irish champions and what have you. My brother was a professional boxer, but I've always been involved in boxing, and I trained in McCullagh gym, and Renee McCormick and Eddie Shaw got immersed in the both of them. Learned a lot there, and learned a lot in America and places I've been in my life, you know what I mean, picked things up. So I've always been around boxing, so I have, you know, and I've learned a lot in different places.
And you came into the headlines last year whenever you took on Martin Rogan for the rematch with Sam Sexton. Looking back on that, do you have fond memories of your association with Rogan?
Yeah, dead on, no problem. It's just that he was in, when he came to me, he was an injured boxer, and I mean, it's just a pity because he didn't spar, and he never got the proper preparation that he should have got, and he was actually in front and he was winning the fight, and you could see the difference in him with the body punches and stuff that he was throwing. You could see that there was a difference, and he was actually winning the fight. And I thought after the fifth round he was going to go out and win the fight because he had Saxon really hurt, like, but it wasn't to be.
Did you have a few reservations about him fighting with his injuries?
Well, I didn't want him to fight from the word go. It was me that actually stopped him from sparring at the start when I noticed that there was something wrong. And I asked him, he was dropping his arm out there, and I said, "What's wrong with you?" He says, "I have a nerve in my neck," and he was keeping it quiet from me. But I noticed it, you know. I says, "No more sparring." He was kind of a bit annoyed, and I says, "No, I'm not. Your health comes first, more important than anything." So I asked him to go and see a specialist and get time. So that's what he done.
And he's gone for an operation now as well. When he comes back, I take it he'll be training with somebody else.
Well, not be training with me, he'll be training with somebody else. Yeah. I actually was asked been asked for years. Martin actually asked me to train him, and I didn't take up the offer. You know, it was through another party. Jared McCaffrey kept coaxing me and asked me. The fellow who done the corner with me, he kept asking me to calm it down. And then eventually I says, "Okay, I'll do it," but I only done it one off. I don't have the health for to do it anymore. You know what I mean? I just have a lot of knowledge up in my head, and I can pass it on. That's all. You know what I mean?
And just finally, Paul, what do you see as your future in boxing? You're going to carry on with Brian, maybe ease it down a bit, or?
No, I'll not be doing much in boxing. I'm a fella who just gives a hand. If somebody needs a hand and wants to learn a wee bit of it, if I can give it to him, I'll pass it on to him. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? That's what I do.
So if something like that came along, like the odd thing, you would.
I'd like to have someone real good, you know, because I think I could give him something to offer. Them, like.
Maybe Brian Cusack.
Well, maybe Brian Cusack. Who knows? You know what I mean?
Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers.
Review.